up. So anyway, I've been told we got to get straight into the game. So no banter, no talking. Just do your job. See you later, Jackie and Vince.
See you, Rich. Thanks for that. We'll avoid getting tangled, but we will stick ourselves right into the action. I think, we were kind of chatting and saying, obviously, for the neutrals at home, it's a great map in the BO1 because it should have some real fireworks, Vince.
Yeah, this is a map that historically Woxic has been unbelievably good on over the years. But I definitely do understand Rich's point and the rest of the Dest point about Woxic being this kind of like inconsistent Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde type player as well.
Yeah.
Like he can go absent, but this has always been the map going back years and years and years that I saw him dropping 30s in regulation time after time, and I have very high expectations. I think him and Deco is going to be a really interesting matchup.
Well, let's find out then. We're getting into Dust2 BO1 here, opening game. Eternal Fire taking on Aurora. Norwi with the contact. Calls for the wrap over. Actually gets away with a cheeky kill, and that one. Oh, mate, that is disgusting. Not the Major, but Xantares trying to tap back with two. I want to see that. The flick, dude. What on earth? Norwi, what have you had for breakfast, mate? That's a pistol round.
No one mentioned him, did they? It's like you were talking about Deco and Clax. And Norwi's like, hold on a second, guys. I've got some frags in my pocket as well. It's that shot there. That's an absolute monstrous shot. Great flash tossed in from Lackey as well to blind up the T's as they approached.
You'd be forgiven for misreading his name on that one, Vince, because there was no way they were getting into the B site.
There you have it. He was having none of it, was he? He wasn't playing. Or he was, but it was for keeps. Eternal Fire now, no post plants. The perfect start for Aurora as well. Like, if you're wanting to make the upset happen, dictating the economy early on is definitely the way to go. Neutralize as many ops as you possibly can. Wacardia goes down as well. Another player I'd like to highlight on Aurora is Kensi. I think he goes under a lot of players, or a lot of people's, I should say, radars.
Yeah.
Very solid rifler in his own right. Be curious to see how he develops into this tournament. Clax the meatball though. Triple spray looking good, but he only gets two. Good news for Aurora is they know exactly where Calyx is, and he's low. And it's only the MP9 that has been put on the deck. So this is going to be a 2-0 and a comfortable one at that.
You got like a bit of a Pokemon sort of situation going on here, right? Clax into Calyx. That's like the evolution.
Yeah. I think probably Clax is the top.
Yeah, you reckon? I was thinking he'd be like the starter, and then Calyx. Because you pronounce it more, like Calyx.
Oh, right, I see. Yeah.
Clax.
That's true, actually. I didn't look at it that way.
You got to think about how the Pokemon would say it, Vince. That's how they get you.
I feel like Clax, like in terms of skill level, is a bit higher than Calyx, who does have some pretty decent ceiling on him. But a lot of the time, he has these off games. It kind of reminds me a bit of Woxic, but not quite as high a skill ceiling. And obviously, being an AWP also is going to have its own sort of pressures and problems alongside it. Good grenade, though, to Xantares. Almost knifes into the air out of frustration. Spots nothing, already down to 62 HP.
Trying to throw the molly up to your teammate there on short side. So into this third round, obviously, there's weapons to work with for Eternal Fire. So can the T side start to burn bright early in the series? It's been looking pretty good thus far for Aurora. Pistol was the big ticket item. Following round was a nice conversion, just with the MP9 there for Clax doing most of the damage. About a minute left on the clock. You've got nades for it. They can go for a late setup. Mid to B smoke's thrown out. Bomb still up top mid. Calyx can pick that one up, link up with the rest of the squad. They drop the smoke down on mid, expecting them to come running on out and try and make the play into the B bomb side. But they're grouping up on short still. Pathway is blocked for now. Still got a ton of flashbangs. One set up. The captain of the team. The man that can raise his skill level when he needs to help out the rest of the squad, setting them up for success here. And Deco, can he dome them?
The answer is a no, and it's the man you just highlighted. He may go down with a Molotov, but the entry frag is worth such a huge amount of impact, and Woxic removing the head of Lackey, alleviating a lot of the pressure that was building up on mid-side. Now the player advantage does go in favor of Eternal Fire, smoke that they can hide behind, and if I'm Aurora, I'm thinking about saving already. Your economy not fully established just yet. You've got 3 rifles and Kevlar alongside it, a kit and a flash. And not a great prospect of getting yourself back into this round. So a save it will be. A couple of exquisite entries in Eternal Fire. They will make the most out of that one. And you were just discussing about Major. Of course, it was him back at the last RMRs. We were discussing this just before the game started. We had that interview. He came out and he was like, yeah, I've just realized that my teammates weren't feeling it. So I decided that I would. And he went and dropped like 25, 30 kills. And Eternal Fire made their crazy run in the last Major at Copenhagen.
I was thinking they could have gone even further. I remember like seeing how the bracket was panning out, right? Like there was a timeline there where that team just grabbed on and ran as far as they could. But if you watch those games back, like you're absolutely spot on. There were so many times on like Inferno specifically is what was burnt into my brain, where Major was just getting away with crazy things, like miraculous shots, rounds he probably shouldn't have been winning, that he was just finding a way to give them that upwards draft and bring them out. So there is a ton of talent on this team. They're very explosive, very fun to watch. Always got to have Eternal Fire on your radar, dude. You can never count them out.
They're such dizzying heights, you know, Xantares and the team. I thought for a second he landed that one tap, by the way, onto Catwalk, but
it felt like it, right?
Kenzie takes him down. It wasn't even Lackey. I thought at first it was Lackey with the XM. It was Kenzie just smacked him in the face.
It's like one of those outcomes if you paused the round and went, what's going to happen next? Not what I would have expected. I thought he was going to get blown in the back by the XM10, but instead it felt like he got the shot off. Couldn't deliver it, though. So it's an opening pick and a lot of damage early as well, so making them posture off a little bit and turtle up somewhat. And Lackey's repositioned. He's back towards the B site now. Obviously limited angles where you can really put that shotgun to best use. So you've got to post up in positions that are favorable for you. And again, smokes out towards short. Similar sort of play here on the run out. It's Kenzie this time. He's walking up. Seeing if he can get a read. He can post up close towards the smoke potentially. He's paranoid about the boost. Thinking they might go for this one. Spams out the warning shots. That'll bait some form of reaction. Potentially a nade right back. But look at the time here. 35 seconds. They've got the nades they need for the execute out. But Kenzie, if he can buy time, Vince, there's still a pathway for them. He gets a bit of a read and Deco roams over. Shots are whizzing by, but they're not really connecting yet. Luckily enough, Kenzie does activate. Calyx with two. With too little time and too many crosshairs, Aurora will convert that one. So a third round now.
Aurora had excellent utility control there as well. I mean, they wasted so much of the time off the clock. Obviously, when you lose Xantares, who is probably at the top of the list in terms of impact riflers, maybe even in the world, honestly, he's up there. He's definitely up there in the conversation. But especially for this Eternal Fire squad, he's a huge component of their entry fragging, a huge component of their clutching. He goes down first. You're always going to be struggling, but the way that Aurora position their smokes and Molotovs down consistently, Eternal Fire never looked like they had a chance in that round, and now they're trying to pick up the pace. Maybe wait after that Molotov and just push straight through. Lucky's up on the perch and is going to get spray into position, and Norwi is going to go and check for the time being. As long as Lucky's alive and in position to strike, he's going to have some partnership in, but a 1-for-1 trade may not be good enough. Xantares is low, but can start to make a move over on the B site, where the bomb is about to get planted.
Lucky. Ooh. So close to getting his face blown off by Major there on the close angle. Nate going to be dropped in. It will tag him up. Not too much damage to write home about. 3 versus 3 on the retake towards B with time ticking away and not really finding a way in. It's getting close to that point where you've got to cut it loose. They've got the nades for the retake, but they've got to get in swiftly and find these pickups. They've been biding their time for Clax on the peak, but they've read this one. They can tuck right in, fight for the players towards the door. Xantares through the smoke, sees the barrel, strikes down. Clax might get the kill, but the round itself, it's gone.
I think Major dies to the bomb. So does Deco. So although Eternal Fire get the round, it's a great cost to their money. Not ideal. Woxic, if he wants the AWP, it's going to be a glass cannon, $5,000. But there is also woes on the side of Aurora. Their money's in a bit of an awkward spot additionally. Nice effort from Aurora in the end. The Xantares with his kill through the smoke pretty much sealed the deal, sealed the round up. And although he went down to Deco, both teams come back with a bye. It will be the glass cannon for Woxic. His first AWP in the 6th round. And a scout for Deco. So considering that he has a glass cannon, this scout effectively could be like an AWP if they go one-on-one with each other.
You see the idea there again as well for the opener, right, with the boost, but you spam with the AK to make little holes through. The issue is it works better from the CT side looking up towards top mid because it's the top of the smoke. The edges where you can blow bigger holes due to the nature of how they work in CS2. More pinpoint, obviously affected by the size of the caliber of weapon you're using. So shotguns blow a massive hole into it, but not really finding the gap there to get the shot straight back with the AWP. So no initial pick yet. Just back to the default for Eternal Fire. And Woxic waiting for this swing. They bait out the one smoke again with a mid to B block off for CT. Salaki's forced to drop his just as we hit the 50-second mark. And they're not debating short. They're wrapping off towards B. And with the extra smoke being thrown in, it'll keep them close towards the site for a few more seconds. Norwi on the off angle as well, looking for the walk up with the Deagle. Needs to get impact here, Vince. Instantly dinked all onto his teammate. It's Kenzie with the A1S.
He's trying to repel the invaders. Looking to assault and barrage down onto their site. He gets 2 kills mid-air. Zantares picked off. And Lucky missing out on the spray. Could cost Aurora dearly. Major's watching for the flank right now. Can hear the information of Clax up close on the doorway. Oh, but man, you go back to that Lucky moment. If he gets the spray down onto Calyx, the entire round switches. Instead, Aurora looking to try and save, and Major, he's waiting for the right moment to come in here. Spray on the first is good, and the transfer even better. No survivors. 3-3 and Eternal Fire in the driver's seat.
The family man dealing with that one. Great control with the AK. And Kenzie, you know, he had his moment there. It was a beautiful follow-up shot, right? With Zantares diving through the air, trying to force the crosshair with such a vast flick that there was no room for a trade.
Nice.
But that spray from the A4, committed to it, no reset, was just hoping it would get over the mark. Instead, look at the knock-on effect. We're back to a 3-3 scoreline with no money in the coffers for Aurora. And Calyx got the spawn to post himself up towards long. I like the little bait on the first face. But you got to get so close to these USPs to make them work. And he's got support with Woxic. Should be a shooting gallery. Should. It's getting quite messy now.
It's like Challenge like, Woxic, get out of my way! He's blocked in like 3 times on the shots. Molotov down though, I think will deny them picking up the AK for the time being, and Zantares can get up close if he wants to. Another Molotov. Yeah, this is all about keeping that AK away from the CTs.
Yeah.
Has been successful so far. Now it's cleared. Zantares in the angle, waiting, anticipating 2 players jump across. The spray is rough though, and Calyx misses again. Finally nails the shot. AK picked up, and they take down yet another one. Holds the foe for a second. Eternal Fire, you're not going to flop this round, surely not.
Well, they got no kit and they got no full info on it, so they've got to wrap back around. Split up for the fast wrap. Kenzie's up close. They know it's the B bomb site, but he go in 1 by 1. Unless he wins the duel instantly, it could all go so wrong, and Major's able to cover the back line. Clax, not much left on the clock. Pre-fire is good, and the follow-up shots connect. Way closer than it felt like it ever should have been, going into that with just USPs. Like, so messy inside a longhouse. And that's what it takes as well. Like, you can see just the constant dives across. You just want to freak him out. You know, if the AWPer misses his shot, if they're panicking, trying to flick the crosshair off, as long as someone gets the trade, it's like, for an eco, really not that bad.
Oh, for an eco, you're loving it.
Yeah.
If you're Aurora, that's a huge W. Eternal Fire are sat there like, oh, jeez, guys. Like, you know, Major probably having a bit of a grimace. Like, guys, how exactly am I in 1 or 2 right now? Like, why do they both have AKs? Why do I have to clutch this round? Like, what went wrong? So many questions.
Yeah. Yeah, they just overwhelmed us at long. Didn't they have USPs? No.
No, they full bought.
No, they got AKs.
Yeah.
They bought them somehow.
They're just cheating.
Oh, right then. Well, 4-3. We're seeing some signs of life from either team here. And we were saying this could be an explosive map for the viewers at home. That's one way to open it up, though. Clutches out the previous round, and this one he gets the early entry. 7 kills to his name as well. Major making moves. Always shows up, doesn't he?
Yeah, type of player, when they really need him, he is there to be counted. Especially at tournaments like this. The RMRs in the Major, I think, is really where he ups his individual level. Now, what could be a concern is Wakardi has yet to get off the mark. He's 0-6. He's typically a very solid component of this Eternal Fire squad. See how long that ends up being the case. They've got mid control underway. Aurora not with that much utility left. For the bulk of it's just HGs. No smokes, no incendiaries left between the four of them. So they're going to go for the flash for intel. And they've spotted nothing in the upper tunnels. So they're going to immediately rotate back around on mid. Flash tossed in, not affecting Woxic, but it's only a scout over the AWP. And he misses the shot, but he does spot 2 players on the cross.
Because of all these early short takes towards late A finishes, you're conditioning them to think about that an awful lot here. So you can already see the rotate coming over. Again, it's just one man on the back of the bomb site, Norwi. Great pistol round from this position. Oh, trigger discipline, so nice as well. Bit of a laboured spray, but still wins. So Wakardi are down again. With 27 seconds. Any kind of shutter he can put down on the B bomb site could close it before it even opens for Eternal Fire. They've got that one smoke going over it, baits him for the swing out. Calyx takes the head off. Now you've got a clean sight with the smoke locking off the rotate. 11 seconds, they can get the bomb down. Fast wrap round the back for Deco, Zantares. He's got the AK waiting for it. Crouching at the face. Deco down. And again, 2 players on a retake towards B with the bomb planted, no kit in the back pocket. You're not liking your chances on this one. They're not going to give you an opener.
Nah, it's up to you to try and crack open back onto the site now. You have to be so aggressive with such little time left and no kits, and Clax from above deals death. Lots of damage here. And Clax finishes it off. It's going to be close on the defuse. Oh, I think he realized he doesn't have it. Yeah. He has to back out of there. It's brutal. A 3K for Clax, and Aurora still concede the round. Eternal Fire are not playing their best Counter-Strike, but they are just about squeezing these rounds out.
This was the opening play. Oh, just a tap as well, just through the smoke. The duality of both teams there, the difference in the plays, obviously, for Major and the team. For Eternal Fire, it's another big round that you get over the finish line, even when it looks scary. Whereas for Aurora, a timeline where that B-side defense could have won it for them. It's like 20 seconds on the clock. He went for the peek out off the back of the util, hoping to catch him off guard, deal some damage with the AK. Not meant to be. Going into this one, Vince, AK in the hands of Clax, everyone else with the supporting cast of pistols. You can hold further back again. And break away from that usual default, just see if there is any pushes. It got messy last time, but you'd hope it wouldn't be anything similar here towards Longhouse.
I was looking at the overall stats as well for Woxic, by the way, because I was talking before about how many times we've seen him just pop off on Dust2. So his individual Dust2 performance is a 1.16 rating with a 1.31 impact. This is a very good map for him typically, but 1 in 6. I think some of this really has come down to the economy constantly being in this awkward state of flux. So he's had a lot of scouts as opposed to the AWP. But that being said, to be fair, he's missed a lot of scout shots too, so him and Wakardi are both having a little bit of a rough go of it so far. Still very early days in the RMR, of course. They can easily heat back up again, but it kind of plays into that point at the desk. Sometimes a player that starts slow and he doesn't really pick up the pace, he can struggle sometimes. Seems to be one of those occasions, but we always know that he has 1 or 2 just magical rounds in him. This round, though, is a little bit of a dud. The formality of a 6-3 scoreline looms overhead, but at least Clax can hold on to the AK-47 from that last round.
It's another one of these rounds as well where going for the short play towards A site, it's further making them believe, you know, these are the common rounds. This is the common go-to spot right now for Eternal Fire. So they're always being able to keep you guessing when they throw out those mid to B smokes. Go into the round with the 1 AK and pistols, you walk away with it. Down 3 rounds, but with 2 AKs in the next that will buff out the buy a bit. And for Eternal Fire, and they keep going like this. Woxic with a scout still. AKs across the board. And although it is a quiet start for Wakadia, I think, you know, long term, like he has always been one of those players where in a lot of the interviews they've given, they basically said like he's always so confident individually, and if he makes a mistake, it's very easy to sort of translate like, look, we don't want this happening again, and there's never any ego to it. It'll be fixed the next time around. Like he doesn't repeat those issues, and they were saying it's one of the reasons why they felt like he sort of gelled into the team so quickly is because he isn't gonna, you know, go headstrong into the same misplay time and time again. He'll always learn, he'll always adapt, and we've seen that over his career.
That's one of the reasons why I think you notice when he has a drop-off in performance like this, because he typically is pretty consistently up there in terms of the T-sides especially. You can get, you know, Xantares can be an entry fragging powerhouse, but Wakadia is really pretty solid as well in that regard. So, yeah, rough start, but I mean, the making of the truly great teams are the ones that play kind of poor by their own level, but still manage to just find a way to win. And that's how Eternal Fire have been occupying this T-side of Dust2 so far. I think, you know, if you asked them right now, are you playing well, boys? They'd say, hell no, we're not. But they're still 6-3 in the lead.
Double barrage, your HE's on short as well. Obviously, we've seen these short plays so many times from Eternal Fire over the course of this half. And it's the same setup again. The mid-to-B smokes out, flash over the top. A slow lurk from Calix so he can catch a rotator. Everyone else wants to barrel out. Deco has an AWP this time, but the opening shot is missed, and it's different in terms of the setup. It's Clax that's on the back of the ramp. AK spray fired out. Kensey's been caught on that rotate. That's mid-doors down and out, and Woxic with a scout. A great first, even a second as well. Oh man, is battering him with the scout right now. And it's gone again. I mean, you're trapped with just Lackey and CT spawn. He's still taking fights from it. Low health, HE dash back in, but winning the round, that's not going to be going your way.
It was set up pretty nicely as well. Deco on the cross, they had good utility tossed in as well, but just everything came apart at the seams. And then Woxic, you know, he said he has those moments of magic. This round is one of them. 2 brisk headshots with the scout, forcing Aurora away and Lackey on yet another save. Aurora can do nothing else but just rotate out the weapons, regurgitate them into the next. This one of Woxic's victims. And he has also traded up to the AWP as well. So a nice little boon for Eternal Fire. Wakadia just hasn't really been required in a lot of those entry sort of pathing. And Calix has had a great game as well. 12 and 7. Really popping off.
Yeah, a lot of lurk kills, a lot of defense. Okay, this is Woxic's place. This was the first one. Oh, okay, even better from his POV. All right, if he can do that with a scout, what can he get done with his signature weapon? Plays with the spawn, fires off the warning shot with the timing, hoping he'll connect onto him. It's Kensey that gets up close again. HE to set him up for the walk-in, but Xantares ready for the tap. Bit of traffic out the way.
Shift, Wakadia, shift out my way, please. Imagine the tilt if he got re-peaked there from Clax and got shut down in the back. That would have been astronomical levels of tilt. It's fine though, he gets out of there. Eternal Fire got what they were looking for, the opening pick. Kensey dead and buried. Have been pretty slow in the bulk of these T rounds. We had that really fast B hit earlier on with a couple Tech 9s and Mac 10s thrown in the mix. But this slow and steady approach has been working out for them a charm. HE lined up for the throw onto Xbox here. He's going to blow open the smoke. And Lackey's going to have a bit of intel for a few moments and snatches a life away. Clax also here for 2. Aurora off the back of that crunch have nailed Eternal Fire and brute forced their 4th round.
And this is what I was hoping to see from him as well. A little bit more sort of aggression there, some nice plays. As they've known that Eternal Fire, it's been very early defaults with them finishing towards short side, always grouping up. The smoke restricting the vision, so they can't make the play with the AWP. This time around, they just break it straight down, take the face out, rifle finds work. And you don't let them come running into you out through short and have to fight from awkward angles. They take the initiative to push back on that one. Last round of the first half. 7-4 at the minute. Can they get themselves a 5th round? They've been trading out who goes for this fast swing out on long with the spawns. They want to take the range advantage. It's an early pick though. Brains of the operation severed from the brawn for Eternal Fire, but the AWP is still in their hands. And Norwi back at the bomb site this time, looking on the periphery of the smoke. Timing on it felt like it might have been uncomfortable, but he still delivers the payload. Ooh. Second shot as well as they dive into pit. That one won't sting.
Tall position for the time being, and Wakadia, he's not going to have a single kill come the end of this half. And Deco continues to twist the knife in the side of Eternal Fire for yet another kill. Norwi with 3, Deco with the 1, and Xantares. 55 seconds, no control over the bomb. It's slightly ahead of him to the right. Once that smoke fades, he's going to have his work cut out for him, you have to feel. But his mechanical skill is second to none. If they pop out and give him a couple of chances, there's always the opportunity that he's going to punish and strike down. Spray, though, with 3 players peeking in. He had no real hope. Really good round to finish off the half for Aurora. But man, Wakadia with 0 and 10 and like 15 ADR in the first half. That's pretty grim, man. Like I can't remember seeing him have a worse half than that in CS, to be honest.
It doesn't look like him at all, right?
No.
But you're caught with the timing on the B walkout, that one round into this one, even though like it looks kind of comedic, right? Obviously, he was just trying to get his hands back on the AWP. You get swung out, they take the repeat, they hit a follow-up shot. But yeah, brutal. Yet to get off the starting block at the half. You need some help. I mean, the fact that it's so close as well, it indicates there's more room for this to potentially be a game where Aurora get it rolling. What's their T side like? Come out swinging with a pistol, you could tie up the scoreline pretty easily. So that was Woxic on the peek out. And as he goes back in the second time, Wakadia was looking to grab the gun. And just got punished because of it. And this is a Aurora roster where in reality, it's 4 of the 5 players looking to make their first major. Deca, the only one that hasn't made it. Klaxit gets a bit awkward because technically, obviously, he did qualify to the major last time around, but was unable to attend. That was with 9 Pandas. You know, Gamer Legion took their spot instead. But he did the hard work. He fought through the RMR, just didn't get any of the satisfaction of attending.
Xantares blocking the smoke. I was hoping he could block it so we could still have a vision towards lower tunnels. Not quite paying off, but instead backs off. 3 players on B. Up for Eternal Fire, up close with those Julies. Wakadia still hungry to get himself on the scoreboard for the first time. Flashback through. Xantares spotting 2, needs to fall back. Needs to get a kill more than likely, but it could be baiting them in now to the stack site of B. And Woxic and Calyx are paving the way with the bodies of the Ts. Wakadia finally gets his first frag. Now realizing 2 of the 3 CTs been spotted on B. Oh, Major needed impact. He's gone down without much of a fight. And now both the Ts can quickly scramble over onto A. Calyx spots just the smallest of pixels around the corner, but he can't exploit it.
They got up. That's what matters. Oh, P2000 from Woxic. Wow. Okay, snapshot. Beautiful way to put it down into just Kenzie in a 1v2. And he's being panicked here. The short peek making him flick his attention between 2 angles, but dismantles Woxic. Tries to get the reload off. Peeks back up. First tags there. Sliver of health taken away from Calyx, but his second shot guarantees the pistol for them.
15 kills to Calyx. Impact off the charts for this guy, and he's not typically one of the players you look at to be up there dishing the serious damage. He's below a 1.0 rating over the last 3 months, and yet in this game, he is the main heavy hitter. 106 ADR with those 15 kills. Huge. Woxic though, man, that first pick, he's only got 5 kills, but it feels like each and every one of them have been worth its weight in gold. The shot on Catwalk with the P2000 is what allows Calyx to even clutch in the first place.
Mate, plays like that. That's why you're a P2000 user. That's why I love that bad boy. Feels so satisfying. The snapshot from it. You always see the USPs, but you got to give respect to the P2K at times. Nade down into lower. And you're set up to farm on this. This SMG can be an easy grouping of kills, one by one. They're all trapped on top of each other. It's only Deco with the Glock. Grabs the gun, but you've got to get the reload in, so it's of no use in the moment. And only one casualty, but a 9th round. Yeah, Eternal Fire won't care. They're back into it. Obviously, it could have been a different timeline here. Like, if they convert that pistol round with how close it was, that's why it's so crazy they were able to get it over the mark, right? Bring it into the 1v1, nearly does it. Then this scoreline's a lot closer, and you're thinking, oh, Aurora, T-side, yeah, here we go. Instead, now, it's far harder of a fight. 4 rounds between them. The buy's there. Deco on the AWP, T-side. What's in store for us here? He goes for the drop early, looking for the peek out. Not going to find anything for his investment on that one yet. No one towards mid-side. Heavy grouping. A lot of long control being taken instantly. And you could try tuck up behind the door, play inside of the smoke. You're going to have them debating where exactly they are, just knowing that long's conceded. So you can wrap a player off instantly. And that'll be Xantares, who's on the move back towards CT late round. Deco up by the palm tree with a scope.
It's a very powerful bonus round that Eternal Fire having as well. Like, you don't have an AWP for Woxic, but 4 rifles. MP9, plenty of utility. Even if they were to lose this, they'll be coming back with an AWP. Molotoving off the perch angle. Aurora still plenty of time on the clock, but the smoke on middle is going to fade away their prospects. Norwi, speculative spray, but no one's behind it. And now Kenzie starting to get a little bit more aggressive. Kind of caught in this stalemate position right now. Time beginning to get into a problematic position. 40 seconds left with a HE up and over. May have not done damage, but it's forced them away for a little bit longer. Flashbang also tossed in. Seems like they want to try and make a move through on middle. There's Lackey and Deco behind them. But Wacardia, safe, sanctuary of that smoke, seeking a bit of reprieve. And Xantares drops down for a different angle. Aurora have to push the trigger. They have to get in right now. Time is way too low.
Deco swings out, Wacardia down, Xantares inside of the smoke, slips back off, tucks into CT. 11 seconds as Woxic picks up another one. Meanwhile, out towards middle. Lackey laid to rest. And with 5 seconds on the clock, you've got to commit to the plant. So Xantares given all the freedom to fight. And the round is dead and buried. It's gone with Deco dying after time to the backstab. Oh, could it have gone any worse?
No, it couldn't. Deco dead after time. An AWP also retrieved for Woxic. Deco's got a P250. That's all he's got into this round. And keep in mind, he is the AWPer, of course. So if there's one player you'd want to keep a decent amount of funds in their back pocket on Dust2, it's him. And he's gone down, so there's Tech 9s. Eternal Fire up to 10. And Woxic's like, yoink, thank you very much for that upgrade. And the utility there was spot on from Eternal Fire, but it's like Aurora were, but they were too precautious. They were respecting their opposition far too much in that round and paid the ultimate penalty. By the time they pushed in, there were so many angles that had gone unchecked. The Xantares could just spring up from the boxes, shut down the plant, the rest is history. Pop flashing in, picking up the pace for Kenzie, but no one's there.
CT smoke thrown over. Doors blocked off on the counter by Eternal Fire. Klax is just waiting in case someone pushes up, looking for the info to try and see if they're setting up for a raw hit towards the A site, maybe a split out through long. But they know they've got the superior firepower. You don't want to walk into the pistols. They keep themselves tucked in together, buddy up. And again, time starts to be a problem. 50 seconds on the clock, and this is just as they go for the push with him throwing in the bait smoke for the close angle. They're just peppering towards him. He keeps him trapped here, but that won't matter. They've wrapped him through the back. Flash out onto the site. They re-entry. Wacardia realizing from all the footsteps, don't run in on my own. Tuck back in, play for the retake with a full squad.
Great call. You know they're rushing B, and you have a huge firepower and manpower advantage. Make sure you keep yourselves alive, and they move into the claustrophobic choke point. And that is the rounds signed, sealed, and delivered. Yeah, really important that Wacardia did not go out into the smoke there, because if he dies for free, that's a rifle that trades hands, and the dynamic of the round shifts a little bit on top of it. Denying the bomb plant is fine, no problems at all, as long as you make sure that you make the most of the advantages, and that's exactly what Eternal Fire did. And this is really where the fact that Deco died after time catches up.
Yeah.
Because you could maybe have someone drop an AWP for him, but then they're down to no Kevlar. So you're on Dust2, 11-5, you want your star AWPer to be involved, and he can only play with the AK. And like Dust said on the desk, he's a very capable rifler. But this is a map that lends itself to AWPing prowess.
For Aurora, you know, events since the player break as well, it's not been great for them. Kind of lesser events, if you imagine the sort of tier 1 competition they're going up against. They've had like 7th, 8th placements, 2 3rd, 4ths as well. That was a Sky Esports and at ESL Challenger Yonkoping. The quality of the LAN to online matchups they're playing as well, Vince. Things like 37 maps on LAN compared to nearly 100 played online. So you can see where the grind's going in for them. Whereas Eternal Fire, like string of seconds, good events since the player break, right? Getting a lot of that constant competition in that keeps them hot. They're always in the headlines these days, and for them it's just about closing this one. Start off 1-0 up, avoid any upsets, get into a good groove at the RMRs. And Aurora, you've had opportunities, but closing them, it's just not been their strong suit. Round 17, early split on the default. Again, just holding to see if there's any info plays towards upper or any pushes out through long. Norwi would have that covered. Same could be said for Klax. Oh, you cut to the man, and he's nearly blown to bits. I mean, 16 HP on the jump across for the info. Minute on the timer here.
Yeah, it's just not worth it, is it? You get the info, but at such a fast cost, and that information has an expiry date as well on the CT side, and it's extremely low. Already that information is nowhere near as valuable as it was. Woxic, straightforward frag, and can fall back onto the B site as a result. Kenzie will be making moves not for the first time, and he's got Deco behind him as well, but not much in terms of utility. I mean, no Molotovs in between these two players can make it hard to deal with a site, but they have. And Calyx, who goes walking, gets punished. Shot in the back. Zantara is now caught between 3 players. He decides that he wants to focus attention onto long, clear that out first, and then make moves. And they still have 2 players over on B. They weren't sure as to whether this was a bait and switch or not. And so Woxic and Wakadia, I think they're going to save this. They're going to play cautious, they're going to play a bit more conservatively and try and hold on to their weapons. Makes a lot of sense with a 6-round buffer.
Exactly, you can give this one up. So you're just thinking about the grand scheme of the game. Keep those weapons in play. The AK in the hands of Zantares, you know, that can be a real big impact piece as well. Like, he's so crisp with the AK. And CT angles, where he's playing for those little pixel peaks, he's got an AK in his hands. It's even better for him. Norwi wants to hold for the exit, but Bomb's going to deal nowhere near enough damage to force him out. So he can just tuck in, let this one go on by. Aurora will get a 6th on the board. But still, the money never really feels like it's getting into a great place for them. So Deco, off the back of that 1 key round, right, dying after time. It's always been a bit of turmoil for him, so he still can't have that AWP back out here. It's the wolf pack of rifles that they're running with.
It's been a long time since the Turkish fans had a team of this stature that could really get behind. I remember back in the day, it was like Space Soldiers were probably the team, and then obviously Zantares went across the big. Speaking of Zantares, down to Deco alongside Major, and long control immediately shifts firmly into the palm of Aurora. There is a smoke in play and a couple of shots out from, I believe that was Calyx on his retreat. They're going to try and get aggressive behind it, see if they can wrap around the back and take some map control back for themselves. Perfect start, though, for Aurora. Up against it, struggling.
They tried to respond by taking back control towards mid there with the 2 players set up on short. Stalled out for so long. They wrap back towards A with the noise being made. Cross smoke is up. Deco bypasses it, gets on the bomb site. Backstab from Norwi as well. Doesn't draw out the attention. Calyx does hold strong, but Norwi still hits the shot. And Woxic's kind of trapped on this one as well. Getting out with the orb's going to be really rough. They can peek together. Don't even need to. Raw fight for Deco. And Norwi with another one. So finally they grab that orb. He will get it in play on T side after quite some time of just running with the rifles. And now the shoe's on the other foot. Eternal Fire. The money runs out.
Yeah, I think we're getting to that territory as well now where Wakadia needs to start showing up. Calyx has been carrying the burden of most of these rounds on his shoulders, but he's not that guy that can consistently carry round in, round out, consistently over the duration of multiple maps. And Taras has had a couple of moments, but a little bit quiet by his own standards. The two players that are top of the scoreboard right now in terms of the stats is Calyx and Major. They're typically at the bottom. Especially if you're struggling to take like long control and you're hemorrhaging players left and right. That's where you need a player like Wakadia to start to pull his weight too. So we're getting into that kind of... They're not panicking just yet. By no means calling a timeout just to chill things out. But if Aurora win this next rifle round, I think that's where if you're Eternal Fire, you start looking over your shoulder a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. But if they lose this one, that's the scary thing, right? You had to reinvest all of it. It's like 9K on Xantares, but he's not going to be there in the next. So Rifle's back out to play with. Orb for Woxic. Deco's debut with a big green gun here into the 19th round. This is one of the few times they actually have gone for the early info play into upper. Usually there's always been someone defending this, watching for the run out to try and catch them and give the extra info. But this is just so much passed over to Eternal Fire's setup. They can start wrapping the troops over, bolstering the defense on A. You know it's a play towards the A site. And he can just build this backstab in. There's one crosshair watching it. That's going to be Clax that's holding for the backstab.
Yeah, they went for the exact same execute as last round, so I think that's why they went for this initial push around the back. Like, so much success for Aurora on long control. But they're probably going to go for it again, but Major's been so quick on this rotation. It's all about now. The foundation of the players on A need to stay alive as Woxic nails Lackey. As long as they stay alive and stall this push, Major's position grows in how powerful it is. Because right now it's not about getting the kills, it's about stopping rotations. If they decide to pull the plug and get out of there at this stage, Major's going to have at least one kill. But we're getting to 35 seconds. So at this point, assuming that they do engage onto A, Major can backstab. This is a perfect setup for Eternal Fire. Aurora screwed. There's surely no hope for them in this. And now Major's about to come in and clean them up.
It's all gone so wrong for them, and he's biding his time, a little bit paranoid about the pit, but he sees both players. Clax with a click straight to the face. But look at the situation he's left in. 10 seconds on the clock. A peek out from short and a man lurking in the smoke. Never a chance he was going to get that round over the finish line. And Eternal Fire have him banged to rights. A 12th round secured. You had to win that one. It was going to turn into a slippery slope. They convert it. You've got match point here in your opening game at the RMRs. Oh, Aurora. Feels like they've got so many chances throughout this game, Vince. It's just the ending. Final hurdle, they're always tripping up.
Yeah. I think that last round perfectly encapsulates Eternal Fire's performance so far as well. Great reads, perfect positioning, but the execution is slightly off. The fact that that went down to a 2v1 is unbelievable. Like, that should have been a completely closed case. But that's the point of Eternal Fire. They are so entertaining to watch. You never quite know what side of them is going to show up. And there's Woxic. Takes out Kensi early doors on Catwalk, and they can maintain position with him and Xantares. Could be the beginning of the end here for Aurora in their first map of the RMR. Smoke down onto middle. Could be baiting this out though, because all four of Aurora are starting to make a move over, with the exception of Deco with the AWP, but that smoke probably forces his hand as well. Looks like it could be a B execute on the cards.
Wakadia looking for the jump spot towards midside. Major gets the information, calls for his attention to be flicked back around. Couldn't get tucked into car in time. 2 clean kills on the run out. Aurora, you might just have a lifeline for at least one more round on this one. 4 versus 3, you can get the bomb planted, get a wrap round the back. They can just play for the exits and keep these weapons alive again, because obviously the money's been a bit fickle for them, so running the risk of going in for a late B retake and it blows up in your face, it'd be brutal. I mean, Lackey on the run straight out though. Gives that one away, so it's another weapon taken out of their hands. There's no real pretty money on either side.
Yeah, that's true. Eternal Fire. I think typically if they were swimming in cash right now, they wouldn't be looking for the retake. They'd actually just be positioning for exit frags and let the bomb do the bulk of the work for them, soften the targets up and then finish them off. But like you said, because their money's also in the bin, they can't afford to lose a single weapon out of this. They have to hold on to their guns too. So both teams kind of sign a bit of a momentary ceasefire. 6 players make it through to the next round, but if I'm Aurora right now, Riccardi's having a real struggle. He's playing B site. Maybe that's where you look to try and expose. You look to try and like expunge that as much as possible and make the most of any momentary vulnerabilities that Eternal Fire may be having, because that's another situation where they had 2 players on B, neither of them get a kill. And Riccardi had a chance to get frags there, just nothing happens.
Yeah, Major got the info instantly, right? Called for him to wrap back around, tuck into the car. Just as he gets into the position, instantly slapped down. And it all goes wrong from there. Another timeout going to be used on this one. Looking a bit stressed as well in the camp. You can see it's an intense position in the game. And this is why they had to save it. You can see the reinvestment there with the low cash that was available for Riccardi and Major. There is room to exploit this. Just got to keep it consistent. Deco on the AWP. Has a spawn for a fast hit if he wants to go running out, but instead posts up in case there's any plays for map control through mid with the lower reinvestment onto the SMGs, but they just play a default. They set both players back up on a B bomb site and instead take control towards short side with Woxic on the boost. He's in a prime time position.
Oh, they slow peek him, they're dead. For sure. So it'll have to be a crazy shot. It's not the angle you're typically looking at. He's much higher up. But the flashbang is so good. Oh, that's worth so much. A free pick into lower tunnels there. And it could have even been a collect kill, by the way, if they both peaked at the same time. With that kind of angle, chest shot, sent the mass. So flash out into the catwalk. Molotov also on the perch, and they find out that this is pretty much available. Free real estate for them to move into. The issue is that they have no one out on long. And so Calyx alongside Woxic can stay in their angles for the time being. 50 seconds. Starting to make a move up on catwalk. Double smokes out to fake the mid play. Keep the B players over there as long as possible. And now Calyx incendiary down with a flashbang on top of it. Gonna try and withstand this for a little bit longer. He does force away the T's. They actually decide to pull the plug and make a move back over on B again.
30 seconds on the clock, you go running out through mid-side. Smoke's there to block off CT sure, but if they're stalled for too long, the round could still be Eternal Fires, and they're getting important picks on this. The dive through the air for Wakadia guns them down. Clax is finished, 17 seconds on the clock. He's going off on this round, and the impact is felt. Kenzie, he's got 10 seconds, sprints his way towards the site as quick as he can. It's going to be so close.
He doesn't have it.
Pulls it out early. It's not happening. You can't get the short plant in. Can't win the round off the Jules. And that's how you lose it. 13th round for Eternal Fire. They go 1-0 up in the pool play.
Yes, turns out you got to keep one eye on the clock. Bit of a sad way to lose that one, but job done for Eternal Fire, the superior team across the board there against Aurora.